What is going on, guys? Politics Gaming here, and today we are doing episode 4 of the United States of America. Now, in the last episode, we actually had to sort of redo the series, mostly because I did actually have to redo the series because of update 6.44. That is because my last one just wasn't going to be able to do anything. It wasn't going to be able to, absorb all the new stuff that has been added into the game. So in order to make sure the series is up to date, we just had to restart the series. So this one's going to kind of be a redo of episode 2. Kind of the next couple of episodes are going to be a redo. However, I did actually get a lot of the last episode. I actually did get a lot of it done, and we are going to go ahead and just kind of continue on, try to make our own thing in episode 4. So in the last episode, we are actually going to go ahead and kind of check on the things that we actually did. So we are actually starting on a few projects in space, which was going to be a big concentration of this episode. Neptune, for one thing. Actually, we're going to go ahead and start off this episode by starting the Trident program. This is actually a real-life mission that is actually going to send a space probe to Neptune. We're going to go ahead and make our own thing, though. We're just going to adopt the name. We're going to send a space probe with landing. However, it does say there is not really going to be a landing on Neptune. Which one is actually preferred more? Space probe, orbital probe. Yeah, let's go ahead and do space probe. This is actually just going to go ahead and enter the atmosphere of Neptune and transmit detailed information of its environment, chemical composition, meteorology, etc. Since Neptune is actually one of the only planets we actually do not know about, we are going to go ahead and do something to learn more about Neptune. So we're going to go ahead and give that about $2.5 billion worth of funding, and we're going to go ahead and fund 85% of that. We're going to go ahead and seek an international partner, and that is going to be in direct opposition to the Neptune RU-001 mission by Russia. So that is actually a more ambitious thing with only a budget of about less than $1 billion, and they want to fund 46% of it to put a man around Neptune, to orbit Neptune. That would be a very, very long mission. How long would that actually take? Because you actually have to come back with that. That is going to take 219 months. That is a very long time. I'm not that much of it's 12 months in a year, so you guys can do the math. So we actually are launching we are actually launching missions to the other planets, to the outer planets outside of Saturn. So let's actually go ahead and get Saturn into the mix as well. So we're going to go ahead and launch space probe with landing, or orbital probe. I think Titan is actually going to be more of a cut than we actually would want. Can we just go ahead and get a space probe with... No, we already did that, which was a Cassini-Huygens. So we are actually going to do space probe with the return of samples to Earth. We're going to go ahead and just... because we do have the Zeus mission, which is a space probe with the return of samples to Earth. Wow, estimated risk of failure, 29%. That is actually because we want to launch that by 2021. So let's go ahead and launch that in 2022. And that is a $6.5 billion program. So let's go ahead and come over here. Artemis 3. We have 3 partners, which is the ESA, Japan, and Canada. And we are actually going to get that on the moon by 2024. What happens if we actually want to get them there by 2023? 2022? Ooh, we can actually do this before 2024. Let's go ahead and get them on there by 2022. 0% risk of failure, $81 billion budget from our part. And the current program budget is $91.5 billion to put a man on the moon. So we are actually going to accept that program very, very soon. Wide Field Survey Telescope. All right, we're going to go ahead and stop looking at that. We have a 3.7% deficit, which is a very, very disappointing number. We do not want that. As someone said it after the last episode, we are making America's economy more shattered. So we are going to go ahead and get this going. We're going to go ahead and add another $100 billion to the American economy. 3.15% deficit as of right now, due to an increase in the tax on pollution. However, the pollution tax is not sustainable. We will not... ooh, wow. Big nuclear meltdown in Armenia. 82 dead as of right now. Let's go ahead and send about $5 million in aid. And, very interesting military situation going on in the Republic of Georgia. South Ossetia and Abkhazia, man, I could not get that out. Abkhazia, both of them are actually controlled by the terrorist group, South Ossetia Autonomous League, and who is the other one? Let me see, Abkhazia Free Front. This is a huge blow to Georgian players, but let's actually go ahead and start launching anti-terrorism operations in Republic of Georgia. So let's go ahead and give them some support the Georgian Republic also by giving them some aid. So let's go ahead and increase their aid to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and give them $600 million worth of aid. Large increase in economic aid, so we're going to go ahead and support their government. Jihadists are defeated. Currency 2.3%. And something I'm actually going to go ahead and concentrate on is going to be national security. So national security is a big thing in the United States, and I really think that we need to invest heavily into our national security. Now, there is over $100 billion worth of funding available in the Secret Service tab. So if I actually increase that by 4 stars, 2 stars actually, that would go up by $4.6 billion. If I did that, that's going to be $15 billion. So we're going to go ahead and invest the $15 billion into that, and we are going to, wow, that actually went up, but that is actually because the tax actually has not passed yet. What are you doing? I've already been increasing your tax that you really like. Portugal, we're not going to meet with you. Sincere salutations from the Secret Service, and let's go ahead and increase our special agents. Let's go ahead and get that to 500 and get this to 50,000. Citizen awareness of cybersecurity, we're going to go ahead and invest another $90 million into a cyber awareness campaign to make sure that people know what's going on. And then I think we are finally ready to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and meet with the foreign minister, the prime minister of India, the world's largest democracy by population. We're going to have to figure out something with Afghanistan. It is almost impossible to actually clear them out easily, if you could say, because I really don't like risking my troops. We have 14,000 troops, so we actually have an increase in that, so Eversim has actually modeled that accordingly. Waiting for your reply. Operation Georgia is a go. And we're going to do something about Iran pretty soon. Let's go ahead and see what we want to go after. Nuclear plant fusion. 2027 and 2031. United. What else are we going after? We're Hyperloop. That's going to be done very soon. Optic computer. Industrial process for creating 3D images generated in space from a single projection point. These holographic objects are visually flawless and can trick the brain. So is that just 3D printers? I think so. DNA scanning, high power fuel battery, capture of CO2. So let's definitely go after that. Energy and environment and matter sciences. Let's go ahead and give full funding to matter sciences, and let's see how much it's going to cost. Okay, $4.5 billion going into research. So let's go ahead and get those CO2 capture areas, because those are very, very important. Looks like there is a bad famine going on. Wow, 50,000 affected in Jordan. Alright, so what we are actually going to do is we're going to send $20 million to Jordan to make sure that they are actually... I'm going to turn his music down. We're going to make sure that they are actually recovering. They are one of the key strategic allies in the Middle East for the United States. So we definitely want to make sure that they are on our side. But let's go ahead and increase the pollution tax. We're going to go ahead and go for a 0.5% on turnover on this. And then we're just going to... keep eliminating our deficit slowly, so we can go ahead and start covering costs for future space missions, as that is going to be probably going to be the ultimate goal for this series. Something that I want to pursue, we could actually have either a permanent base on Mars or a permanent base on the moon. Probably the moon, but that is going to be something we can start looking forward to. Okay, so let's look at this. Phobos and Deimos. Deimos is the smallest moon, and then Phobos is the largest. Ganymede is being pursued by China. Io is being pursued by no one. And Callisto is being pursued by no one. Volume or sale. They want to sell us some coal. We actually can take some coal right now. 68 million tons, or tow, should actually be pretty sufficient. However, we're going to lower that price to 416. That way they're still making a profit. However, we're going to go ahead and accept that 522. Let's go ahead and do that. No, we don't need anyone else in our Artemis mission. Assassination of Tim. I don't know who Tim was. Democrats have control over the House of Representatives. Okay, and then the Republicans have control of the Senate, so that's pretty mixed bag right there. I think what we're also going to do, we're going to go ahead and initiate construction for another 3G nuclear power plant. I think we're going to go ahead and build that in northern Arizona. Actually, let's go ahead and do it along the highway outside of Tucson. Definitely going after a nuclear power policy for this playthrough. Let's go ahead and check our debt, see what's going on there. Estimated quarterly loan is going to be $139 billion. However, our public debt is 104. We're going to aim to get that to 100%, and then we're after that we're going to just go ahead and just really pay attention to what our debt is looking like. So, taxation, no, let's kind of look somewhere else. I think let's go ahead and come over to space research. And before we close off this episode with, I mean, it's not even, I don't even think this episode is even close to closing off. We're going to go ahead and accept our Artemis program. Let's see who else is wanting to join. Spain wants to join. I think we're good on that. Taiwan also wants to join. Let's go ahead and approve the program. $91 billion budget. Beginning of the Artemis 3. We will begin work right now. Public opinion is behind you. There is a certain excitement in the apartment. As a matter of fact, the new budget has already been effected, and our partners are thrilled with as well to strengthen our ties with them. And that actually did a number on our deficit. So we are now back to 3%. So we definitely... We're actually going to go to taxation. We're going to increase this to 0.5 to actually pay for the Artemis program. Might have a protest or lashback from the motor union or the motor association. So definitely make sure that we're paying attention to that. How much is our cost? So what is what's going on here? The Moose space habitation module. And let's go ahead and get this done. 5/21/20. Let's go ahead and delay that by about a couple of months. 8% chance of failure. We're going to go ahead and do that. No, we're not going to meet with the president of Afghanistan. $150 billion of debt has been incurred. ICTs. Moose, prepare for liftoff. Industry in danger.
Industry in our country is very worrying. Our businesses have lost their competitive edge, and unemployment has wormed its way into formerly prosperous sectors. We have to react quickly.
Usually pops up at the beginning of the game. At least it did whenever, what was the other game? Masters of the World was around. So that is actually because of our policy that the state of industry in the country is in danger. Law on industrial pollution? No wonder. Temptation of extremism. Let's see what else is going on. Athena. What is Athena? Athena is a space telescope. A $150 million telescope. Wow. 2028? So one thing we're actually going to do, we're going to launch a space program. Construction of a space station. The aim for the station will be to replace the ISS, for whose future remains uncertain beyond 2024. The interest in such a nation is both strategic and scientific. Furthermore, it will be a staging area for other missions. Such a station is made by assembling at least 3 inhabitable modules placed in orbit in preliminary missions. And we are actually close to doing that. I'm actually going to have to check the amount that we actually have. Living in space, sending an astronaut into space for a short stay in orbit. Orion is actually going through construction of a space station. Space telescope. This kind of telescope is positioned in space to observe far-off planets, galaxies, and other celestial objects. Unimpaired by Earth's atmosphere, it allows us to take very high-quality images. What is the highest we can actually do? $750 million. $75 million a year. Tax on industrial pollution. Go, 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 go. Let's go to education. Let's go ahead and see what kind of money we can put into education. Let's go ahead and put $840 million in aids and grants. And increase funding to policy on gender equality. And allow for better teacher training. That's going to be a $1.4 billion increase in that. Let's go ahead and increase money to technical training and agricultural training, as well as general education. That's going to be another $2 billion that's going to be going forward into education. Next episode, we could actually concentrate a little more on education. Let's go ahead and come over to transportation. Self-driving vehicles. Don't really have a policy on that. Unemployment figures have dropped to 4%.
Here is our growth.
4.45. public finances are really good. 1.54%. Wow. Next quarterly loan, though, is going to be $100 billion. And budget deficit is $335 billion, down from $800 billion. And our public debt is 105% of the GDP. Let's go to Army. Did we actually... We ordered... yeah, we did. Nuclear submarines. Actually, we're not even buying any. We're not even producing any. Huh. Alright, so... Alright, so before we close out this episode, we're actually going to go over here. We're going to go to police. We're going to go ahead and check on a couple of laws that we should actually change. Let's go ahead and look at this. Establish a level of ID checks. An identity check is a police action that aims to establish the identity of a person. It can take place for various reasons: suspected person, criminal investigation, breach of the peace, anti-terrorism, or controls near the border. The Ministry of the Interior, in France, I believe, established the conditions for intervening and action guidelines. Let's actually go ahead and change this to strong. Let's go ahead and get Congress's position and the opinion of the people. The people are not going to be too fans of it. They're not going to be the biggest fans. But let's actually change that. So we're going to go ahead and call this we're going to call it the Security and Policing Act. We're going to go ahead and create that reform. We have a 66 in the House and a 69 in the Senate. And then we're going to go ahead and increase the amount of surveillance cameras we actually have. Let's see Congress's position. Democrats are a little more against it, but we're going to go ahead and do that. People might be against it as well. And we're going to increase this to 80,000. Oof. 78. Democrats are strongly against it. So minimum age for a driver's license is 16. Let's actually go ahead and reduce the blood alcohol level to 0.7. So we have a 66 in the House and a 70 in the Senate. Prostitution is legal, but organized activities are illegal. And then let's go ahead and edit the budget for it. Fight against sexual violence. Let's go ahead and increase that by $500 million. Full funding to the fight against the illegal... Ooh, not full funding. 1 star to illegal immigration. Drug Task Force. Let's go ahead and give them some adequate funding. And Security and Exchange Commission. Full funding. Cybersecurity Task Force, let's leave that alone right now. And Highway Patrol, $2 billion, so let's go ahead and do that. So that was a total of $4 billion that we were actually pumping into police. It does look like we actually do have a protest against military policy. So we're actually going to go ahead and send the police in. We already have. But due to policy we are actually adopting right now, it is actually invoking some protest. Let's go to immigration. Establish the integration policy is restrictive and monitored, so we're going to keep that. We're actually going to build the wall soon. But this is going to go ahead and be it. So guys, if you guys like this, go ahead, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I'm going to definitely push these episodes out at least once or twice a week. So don't miss out on any more content that I'm producing. An update on the interview. I am actually still editing it. I have a lot of stuff that Louis actually did send me on what he found wrong with the interview. So I'm going to go ahead and fix all that up. And I should try to get it out at least by next week. And if not, then I'll update you guys that. So keep tabs on my community tab and community posts for more news on the interview. So in any case, guys, if you guys like this, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and guys, I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys there.